Hello folks, it's Kai. So I've been thinking about kind of before transitioning, I spent several years being very feminine and really trying to embrace that and presenting that to the world with full gusto. And, you know, part of me understands now that I was trying to explore something that didn't quite fit, right? But I had to go through it in order to know that it didn't fit. But it's interesting to me because yeah, I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that basically I like the effects of presenting as female and the positive feedback that it gave me. People, commenting on my looks and, how beautiful I was. And I still have this in my head. I was buying jeans with, I was getting, last 2 years getting more and more fit. And, my shape was coming back and, I looked fit and buff and so I was, of course getting a new wardrobe around that. And as part of that, I went to a jean shop and I just wanted to kind of get simple, straight laced jeans. And this one woman, and I was shopping in the female section, and this woman, was really encouraging me to buy these very tight-fitting jeans, and that made me extremely uncomfortable. And I thought it was related to the fact that I just didn't know how to embrace my hotness. Maybe we'll put it like that. But really, I now understand it to be more related to gender. That I just, it's like that's too much curves. My ass was showing, and I was just like, oh my god. And that's not to say that some trans guys like the tight stuff, and that's awesome. But I definitely don't. I like the kind of straight fit, just simple, nothing, but yeah, anyways. So it's just interesting that, I was buying into a version of myself or trying to portray a version of myself that, got me positive feedback. And I enjoyed that feedback. And I think that's what's so challenging for me is because I really, was outward focused in that. And then I was like, wow, because other people are telling me that it's good, it must be good. And I think those are the really dangerous conclusions. One that anytime I'm outwardly focused, regardless of the issue, really, and I'm taking other people's input and replacing it over mine or to the exclusion of mine or somehow negating my experience, I get into really deep water and oftentimes cause myself a lot of confusion, right? And so that's where I found myself in the past 5 years with kind of, I wouldn't say it's hyper feminine, but it was definitely, really embracing that, with like the flowery bras and trying to, accentuate the breasts. And low cut shirts and tight fitting shirts. I still want to get back to because I really like them, and so forth. So, and dresses too, and who knows? I may go back to dresses, or not like full time, but enjoying the temporary dress even in my male form, or not. Maybe I'll completely ditch it. But that's yet to be determined. But another confusing part is that I did feel, to a certain degree, it was authentic. It's not so much in the dress or appearance of femininity. Hey, I can't even say it. Femininity. It's more that that is part of my gender expression. And that is to say, I am effeminate. And so that's the genuine piece for me. That, in kind of the house falling down on itself, what I'm able to take from the wreckage is, I should say, the house of cards, right? Because it's this delicate balance that eventually just falls when I realized that I was transgendered. And what I'm able to pull from the wreckage is really my feminine gender expression, and not so much the presentation component, which was less authentic, but more me trying to figure out where to place it. And so I'm never down on myself for how I moved through this gender piece. The key piece being that I felt uncomfortable during the whole time while I was getting positive reinforcement. So it was a bit of a mindfuck. One where now my internal experience supersedes anything else that people say. And, I get a lot of initial responses from my friends, especially gay guys. I mean, nothing against their response or whatnot, but is, but you're so beautiful. So that still came up. And it's interesting that despite my very deep sharing on that was a response. That's a totally legitimate response, and why it took me a while to kind of figure it out, but because I do have this very effeminate side, and why I like hanging out with gay guys, essentially, because there's predominantly more effeminacy among gay guys, not exclusively, but that's not to say straight guys can't be effeminate, and they should embrace that if they have it, blah blah blah. But so for me, embracing my effeminacy, so not going pendulum over to the macho crazy side of the male experience, and being true to myself in terms of there are parts of me that are very flamboyant, and I'm okay with that. In fact, that makes me beautifully, uniquely me. And so I'm fine with my expressiveness, and I may not have the most macho walk, but you know what? It's all good. I'd rather be true to myself than make up some sort of phony front, because I think this is how to be trans guy. There is no one way to be a trans guy. They're just this beautiful tapestry of people who feel their body should be more male-like. And there's a whole range of that too, right? In terms of what that looks like. And everyone is entitled to the dignity of their own body form and gender expression, gender identity, the whole nine yards, right? So I just wanted to kind of speak to those things because that really confused me for a long time. And I felt like I was phony in being feminine, or how feminine I was in the last little bit, and why I think I really confused other people around me when I came out as trans. It's like, what? So they are congruent, but just from you have to kind of have the right perspective or angle on it, and I finally feel like I found my angle. And I'm sure it'll evolve too, especially as I get on tea and things like that. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I thought that was interesting. So especially because I was listening to posts from this guy called Dana. Some of you may know him, who was showing pictures of him growing up, and then there was another guy who was talking about he really liked his puberty, mainly because he became a hot woman. He liked that positive attention. And I don't think there's any use in discounting that. That's so huge. We're social creatures, and so the input from other people is tremendously important in our lives, and factors in sometimes much bigger than it should. but it does, right? And there's no shame in that, I don't think. You know, that I I think of my body. Why it was confusing is because I was like, objectively, I have a hot body. Right? You know, I mean, maybe the envy of some, you know, cisgendered women. So, you know, there was a bit of hesitance because I'm like, how can I complain when I have such a nice body, right? And I love my body. I think it's fantastic. It, you know, it's healthy. It's, you know, super strong, and I can do stuff with it. You know, and I recognize I have tremendous, you know, goodness here, right? And so for me, it's very difficult to say I have a problem with it when I do, or parts of my body that just don't compute, don't add up. They are nice if they were on somebody else's body, and in fact, I would very much enjoy touching that kind of body. It sounds super wrong, super conceited, but that's kind of where I'm at in my thinking. And it's just like, okay, hot does not equal the acceptance. That makes sense. In a weird way, that makes sense to me. So, hot equals just that. It's hot, but it's not something I'm willing to live with anymore. And I will embrace a new hotness. So, don't you worry. I even got confirmation from gay guys I'm a hot guy. So, there you go. Not that I'm conceited, but and not that that's the most important part either. It's not about the hotness. It's more about feeling comfortable in my own body, and that I have to override a certain amount of social or let go of a certain amount of social acceptance that I enjoyed while being in my female form. That's it. And female gender expression. So, check out my awesome mug. Oh, yeah. Ooh. K for Kai. Not the other name that I used to be called. Anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. I can still speak. About female form, my past relationship with my body, and also my gender expression, which is fabulous. Anyways, love you guys. Talk to you later.